you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks, it's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are ladies, things that makes it official. Welcome to 16 years to nearly 2,400 episodes of the Chris Voss Show. Boy, we just keep pumping out the most amazing guests, the most amazing interviews, and things that you can learn to make your life better. But if you're sitting around going, I don't want to do that, Chris, I don't want to make my life better, you're going to have to find another podcast. But until then, refer your family, friends, and relatives to this one, because I've seen your family, friends, and relatives. They need all the help they can get. I'm kidding. I'm sure they're nice. Anyway, guys, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTokity, and Chris Voss, Facebook.com, and send your complaints about me bashing your family to 1-800-no-one-gives-a-crap. Anyway, I'm just teasing. I love you guys. I love everyone, except for the evil people. We don't love evil people on the show. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Anyway, guys, we're going to be talking to an amazing couple and the journey they've been on and the lessons they've learned and what they're going to train and help you to do better. We're going to be talking with Heath and Chrissy Evans. They are on a mission to help men and women break free from cultural lies, big pharma deception, and the diet industry's trap by reclaiming their health, faith, and discipline, and for them, for the glory of God. We're going to be talking about their company that they founded, and it's called Vicera at ViceraNutrition.com. We're going to get into it with them. Heath Evans is a former NFL fullback and NFL analyst turned faith-driven entrepreneur and leader. His life took a radical shift when he lost everything he thought defined him. Through false allegations, career loss, and public humiliation, he found his true identity in Christ and discovered the strength isn't about status, it's about surrender. Now, through Built Ready, he helps men step into biblical masculinity, disciplined leadership, calling them to reject passivity and lead their families with conviction. Chrissy Evans, after losing 150 pounds, congratulations, that is awesome. Keeping off for a decade, she knows firsthand that weight loss isn't about calories, it's about conviction, mindset, and metabolic health. She's a wife, a mother, a business owner. She's passionate about helping women break free from diet culture, weight loss gimmicks, and modern feminism's false promises. She speaks boldly on Bible womanhood, food, freedom, and self-discipline, equipping women to honor God with their bodies, marriages, and families. Welcome to the show, Heath and Chrissy. How are you?
Glad to be here.
We're good. Thanks for having us, buddy.
Thanks for coming. We certainly appreciate it. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Go ahead, baby.
All right. ViceraNutrition.com, VICERA. And we have BuiltReady.com.
Yeah, Built Ready. I grew up in the NFL world, so everyone walked around saying, I'm born ready. I'm like, yeah, no one's born ready for anything of significance. So we came up with Built Ready because we all need to be built and educated and instructed to be great. So we've got BuiltReady.com.
No baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was built ready for football. I weighed 10.9 pounds at birth, and I was so fat.
Ooh, wow.
My neck, and it's a wonder I had a head. I still have a fat head. But yeah, they said you're going to probably have a football player there. Unfortunately, I started businesses. I wasn't good at sports, so I was actually a skinny kid. Give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys are doing there at Vicera Nutrition and Built Ready as well.
I'll kind of start. Everything that we do, we want to help people get healthy, physically and spiritually. So from our coaching company, Built Ready, we want to teach people how to eat. We've kind of all been lied to, and everyone's been lied to in certain ways, and we're always learning. This modern day and age of technology gives us so much information, some of it good, some of it bad. And obviously, sometimes the hottest marker gets the most attention, and sometimes that hottest marker about nutrition is just deadly wrong. We've got our coaching that kind of helps people one-on-one, and then Vicera Nutrition is our supplement company that just really simply, Chris, we want to help people eat more protein, be more hydrated, drink more water, more salts, more minerals, more electrolytes. And then we want to help people digest food better. So we have a product line that consists to help people do those three things. And if we can get people eating more protein, digesting food better, and then being properly hydrated, people are going to get very healthy over time.
You mean I have to give up the meth and booze and start eating healthy?
Listen, yes. Yes, you do.
Where's the fun in that? No, I totally agree with you. You know, one of the things I discovered on my health journey of losing 100 pounds is the lies that I was telling myself, you know, the cons, you know, the scotomas that I would have. Oh, you need a reward when you go to the store and shop. You need a big bag of Coke and a big bag of nasty Doritos chips and stuff. And, you know, I go out to eat. I've been single all my life, so I go out to eat a lot, probably too much. But, you know, talk to my bank about it. And, you know, the one thing I found is, number one, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. So don't buy it, bring it home. And number two, you know, like I said, putting it in your, you know, it's a lot about what you eat and control in the kitchen, I guess.
Yeah, you can speak to discipline better than most.
I feel before I lost weight, I would be eating the Doritos, and I'm already planning like the next snack that's coming after the Doritos before I'm done with the Doritos. It was kind of like my pacifier, if you will, food.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, if something's uncomfortable in my day, like what am I going to eat? And stopping that train of thought and replacing it with something else it kind of feels like turning the Titanic around while it's sinking, you know? Yeah. And so it's a hard thing. And I know for me, and this is why we're so passionate about the mental health, the spiritual health side, is that I feel like so many people go to lose weight and their felt need, like that thing that just keeps them up at night is I've got to lose weight, but then we lose all this weight and we're still not happy. And there's still something else broken, because usually whatever that thing was that drove the weight problem, we just find it somewhere else. And so that's where it's like, hey, I realize like, I got to change how I think about this whole process, because it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I lose weight and then I just put it right back on because I'm not sticking to anything long-term.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional is super painful, right? I mean, we have all these cliche statements about, you know, discipline's painful and, you know, being undisciplined's painful, choose your pain. And it's cliche. And I get cringe when I hear people say it, but dysfunctional is far more painful than being disciplined. And we joke about booze and meth. We've adopted 4 little kids. Their parents were addicted to meth and alcohol and other things. We've seen the pain that it causes, not only the person that's inflicting on themselves, but the residual pain that's spread around families and so many others. And so we just want to encourage people, because listen, we all have areas of dysfunction and we all need coaches, so to speak, to kind of point those things out. But to have a good coach, we got to be humble at first to ask for help. And so we've got people in our lives. Heck, I was on the phone today with a pastor friend. I need help. I need answers with my 21-year-old. And so we just want to lead people in humility and lead people that, hey, we don't have all the answers, but we got a lot of them. And if we kind of gang together, we're going to accomplish a lot.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. So tell us about some of the supplements you have there. I've been on a kick lately where I've been taking more protein to try and get my protein up to where it's, 1 gram or one something per body.
Desired body weight.
Desired body weight, which, you know, I found that 200 seems to be my thing, even though I'm at 3. But I've noticed a distinct difference in my body composition since starting it. One of the things I was doing during intermittent fasting is I was really leaning myself out and I was losing body muscle. And it's hard to maintain and work out and do intermittent fasting at the same time. It's really difficult. And so I found by upping my protein, I'm actually burning more fat and I'm building more muscle, which seems to be burning more fat. And I just seem to be converting a whole lot better. So I've been pretty happy with that. Tell us about some of the supplements you guys have there on the website.
I'm so glad that you're focusing on muscle health, because I feel like that's one of the lies in the diet industry as a whole, is it's, muscle weighs more than fat. And so we get it in our brain that it's like muscle, we don't need to worry about muscle. We're just trying to target the fat problem. But most of our fat problem comes from a lack of a muscle problem. And so those two things are correlated. And then you have people do Ozempic or weight loss surgery and they lose so much weight, but they also lose so much muscle, which is the thing that is actually keeping their metabolism higher. And then they stop that thing, and then we see a massive rebound problem. And so I'm so glad that you mentioned the protein. That's a huge thing for us. We find a lot of people really struggle to digest protein and to digest it well, or we find most proteins that are clean don't taste very good. Most proteins that taste really good have food dyes and corn syrups and all kinds of stuff in it. And so we really think that we have where clean meats actually taste really good. And we do not think that's just our opinion.
We got a lot of 5 stars reviews to prove it.
We have like 3 5-star reviews. So at least 3 other people.
I think it's like at least 4 at this point.
I'm just kidding.
But listen, COVID was a curse, but it was also a blessing. It taught us a lot about metabolic health. It taught us a lot about who is kind of most resilient to disease and virus, et cetera. And so this like post-COVID medical data that we have now benefited from, it's not lean muscle mass is this number one target that people should be after. It's not even really just kind of body makeup. It is how strong are you physically? We can't be strong without protein. Male and female, we need to be power feeding on protein. And then what happens, kind of like you realized, the more protein we eat, the less other bad stuff we eat, because we fill up with good things. And then we can still enjoy the occasional treat, but we're not craving those things because our body is actually getting the source that it needs most to build everything off of. So from a supplement standpoint, she started to mention our A2 protein. Chris, I don't know if you like chocolate milk. I grew up on chocolate milk. My dad built this body, this NFL body, on chocolate milk in a lot of burgers. So when we went to our guy in Tennessee, I'm like, Mike, I need this thing to be healthy like we are demanding, but I need this nostalgic when especially boys, men, taste this protein. I need them to taste that little boy chocolate milk so they love what we're doing, and then we can promise them they're getting all the clean sourcing that we deliver at Vicera. And our chocolate milk is off the charts. But tell them a little bit about A2 protein and how that's different than A1 and kind of what separates us.
Yeah.
Have you heard of A2, Chris? Have you been seeing that before?
I know about A2 and A1 milk, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the same?
Yes. So it's you have the whey and then you have the casein. So ours is made with an A2 beta casein. The reason that that's important is that most people, I don't want to say this is a scientific fact.
You can say.
We believe the majority of people who have dairy sensitivity, it's usually A1 dairy sensitivity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So see, you would be great. So when you look at the studies, there's so many studies around A1 and A2 dairy. You have people in Africa who drink dairy all the time, and then they come to the United States and they're suddenly lactose intolerant. It's because we're just all A1 here, where most of the other countries out there have at least a mix, if not a predominant A2 dairy. And so our protein is made with A2 dairy, and then we also combine that with probiotics, because here's the thing: if you're drinking all of this protein and then you're getting like bubble guts and your stomach is just not happy with it, how much of that you're actually absorbing and utilizing is we're unsure of. When you're digesting things well and your stomach is working properly, then we know that you're actually utilizing the fuel that you're giving your body. So we're trying to make protein really work for people. So far, now this is a bold claim, we have not had any dairy sensitive person try our protein and say that they are sensitive to it.
And Chris, I'm going to get your address and I'm going to prove it to you, because I'm going to send you as soon as we're done, and you will absolutely love it. But what people have to realize is I'm pointing to my belly. If you can't see me, this is brain number one. Brain number one drives brain number two. And if we can get the gut healthy, we sleep better, we think better. Women's hormones problems, men and women's even mental anxiety, depression problems, everything gets better, right? So this brain number one, we just haven't been taught right how to take care of it. And then when that brain starts functioning at a higher level, everything just gets better. And so protein is this building block, this foundational truth of everything good in nutrition. And it's kind of been ignored. We've been lied to about, eat this and eat that. No. Fill yourself with protein. Our kids, every meal, they're going to start with the protein, right? And then they're going to move to the fruits and the carbs and the veggies, and then they're going to finish with their raw milk from the farm. But protein is king, and it needs to be prioritized if you're prioritizing your health, we need to prioritize protein.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people where I didn't drink milk for a lot of my life, so I don't know if I just turned or something. I don't know. I wasn't really a big milk person. Maybe I had noticed that subconsciously that it was uncomfortable, but I really didn't tune into my body till later in life. And yeah, I mean, you give me lactose and you're going to have a nuclear Chernobyl accident on your hand. It's not fun in any way, shape, or form. And it seems to be getting worse. But I discovered A1 and A2 milk because there were some raw producers that were here, and I'd been reading, about building muscle and how it can be good for you and stuff. And I was like, I'll start drinking some milk and good for my gut health. Like you said, the gut is your second brain, and it's so important if you've got leaky gut issues or different issues to get that fixed, because a lot of people have been on the show talking about how it causes swelling in the brain, in the upper brain. And so for a while I tried raw milk, still had the same lactose issues. Then I discovered a local farm that makes raw milk, and they only have the A1 cows. And that makes A2 cows. Yeah. And they actually separate it. They've got two different versions of cows. And I guess they have the old type of cows before the DNA genetic failure that created the lactose problems. So yeah, I love that you guys have that. Now I notice there's also animal protein, I think. Am I seeing that right? Is some of the protein is it beef related, or is it?
We do. We have regenerative organic certified bovine glandulars in the majority of our products. So Chrissy's story is underperforming thyroid. She starts taking thyroid glandulars.
So cow thyroid,
right.
But I was taking it in a capsule form.
Okay. We do our kind of, quarterly blood panels. We have a lot of our one-on-one clients do the same. Her markers were in healthy range for your typical LabCorp or Quest. Our doctors said, hey, this seems off. Why don't we try this? So we called a friend, the friend who actually kind of helps us produce all of our supplementation, owns his own 40,000 acre organic farm in Missouri. He's built two massive companies in the nutritional organic space. And here's a thyroid to take. And I'm telling you, in a matter of days, Chrissy was just a different woman. And so that's what really kind of tuned us into the power of even kind of furthering our nutritional understanding, especially around kind of these bovine glandulars. And it has been a game changer for not only so many of our clients, but also the people that are trying our Visera nutrition products.
It looks like you also have hydration products. Those are important as well. Making sure that you've got your minerals and all that sort of stuff. You've also got some creatine and collagen stuff. Some of it's mixed with caffeine if you want that energy boosting thing. Tell us about some of these products you got on here.
Creatine is probably, I think it is like the number one hottest supplement right now. And the thing that nobody knows about creatine, and the only advice that I would give to anyone, you should obviously try ours. But outside of that, what I would recommend is trying to find the sourcing, which is very difficult to find. Like ours on our label is going to say this creatine is sourced and manufactured in the United States. Most of it comes over from China. Most of it isn't super great quality. And so everyone's hearing about creatine because it is a fantastic supplement that we need. It's especially in the women's space from hormone health. They're even showing all of these cognitive benefits, dementia patients whose memory markers are improving. You see antidepressant benefits. Like it's actually crazy how much brain health is associated with taking creatine. And creatine, there are actually studies and we have them listed on our website that actually show that even in the absence of exercise, that creatine, taking enough a day, not only can maintain muscle mass, you can actually see slight improvements in muscle mass just from the creatine. And so our diets are super lacking. Our creatine also has like the cow heart in it because that is a rich source of both collagen and creatine. When's the last time you ate a cow heart? No one's getting that in our diet. It's disgusting. But back in the day, hundreds of years ago, we ate the whole cow.
Yeah.
So we throw that away. I eat the fillet, and he says I'm bougie for that, but I love the fillet. But I don't eat the heart. I don't eat the kidney. It's disgusting. And so this is what we did is we dehydrate these and we put these into our products to try to get this nutrition in people's bodies because it literally has nutrients that you're really not getting elsewhere.
Yeah. When creatine's been knocked because it irritates so many people's stomachs. Good creatine sourced will not irritate your stomach, even high volume, high dosages. What happens is the sourcing is from overseas, and then people take it and their gut is irritated and like, oh, creatine works, but my gut I had bubble guts all day long. We fixed that. Creatine and collagen are the two most tested, trusted supplements on the planet. So most collagen products are going to have type 1, type 2, type 3. We have 13 different types of collagen, all the way down to organic eggshell membranes. We want people's guts to get healthy. Collagen is great for skin, hair, nails, joints, muscles, all those things, but it is best for gut health. And this is what we need people to see. If we can get people digesting food better, they're going to live longer. They're going to be happier. Everything, less aches and pains. Life just gets better when we get people healthy the right way. And so these two things, maintain muscle through creatine, right? But then also with the collagen, joint health, massively important, but gut health for both of them.
So talk to us about some of the things you got in the advisories that you do in coaching and stuff. I know there's an app and a few other things here.
It's funny, for many of our years before Chrissy and I got married, Chrissy was kind of targeting the really overweight woman, kind of like she was 10 years ago. And so when you're taking people that are 150, sometimes 200 pounds overweight, the process is slow and methodical if you're going to do it well. We do our kind of one-on-one, what we call discovery calls, because most of the time I'm having to convince women that I'm going to need them to eat more, not less. They've been lied to about, hey, eat your 800 calories a day. Our poor women are starving to death. And so we need to refeed their bodies and then get them reintroduced that metabolism can actually turn back on. So food is medicine or food is poison, right? And so we almost so much of, we don't call it counseling, right? It's coaching, but so much of our coaching is literally just trying to get women and men to renew their mind about trusting us to think right about food. Chris, my biggest battles in our one-on-one coaching is not stopping our women from eating. It's getting them to eat enough. When I see 1,500 calories a day on their tracking panels, and I'm like, sweetheart, this can't be. I need 1,800. I need 1,900. I've got Chrissy right now eating 22, almost 2,300 calories a day. And the muscle mass that she's putting on, and she's not necessarily genetically coded to build great muscle, it is amazing. And so the biggest thing that we do is we encourage people with the truth. And then we're just patient and loving with them, because any type of significant change like she went through, it takes time and they can't be lied to. And so we're breaking down all the crap that they've been fed, people trying to get their money, people trying to get them to try some gadget, do stomach surgery like she did. Even if you do stomach surgery, you still have to change your dieting protocol. Otherwise, that stomach's going to stretch back out and you're going to put all your weight back on. It's mainly counseling people to believe the truth around good food and eating well, sleeping well, and getting hydrated.
And they can download the app. They can interact with you guys. How do they usually reach out and work with you guys? Do you guys silo people off? Chrissy works with the women and you work with the men, or how does that whole thing work on onboarding?
Yeah, you can always just reach out to us on our Instagram handles. I'm Weight Loss Hero. He's Heath Evans 44. For one-on-one coaching in our Built Ready app, it's a free app. So this is just a faith-based fitness app. It is for men and for women. I'm our lead coach at Built Ready. He's the lead men's coach. I'm the lead women's coach over at Built Ready. We've really just sort of brought our brands together in one place and kind of relaunched that together. So Built Ready for Women is actually new. And so we're super excited to get that launched. Heath does our one-on-one coaching only because with my responsibilities with Vicera and all of the other
and taking care of me and our 6 kids.
Yes, I don't have the time to do the coaching, but at the very least, if they come to Built Ready and they're just like, hey, I need to know where to get started. I need some basic information. I just feel like there's so much info on the internet. They could see an entire transformation just from the information we give in the app. And then, of course, there's other ways to work with us on a more one-on-one basis from there.
Chris, she's super humble. Her company's always been Weight Loss Hero. I mean, she's helped over 12,000 women lose weight. She served women in over 74 different countries. She has been there, done that, lived it, preached it, coached it, and helped so many women. I was coaching men at Built Ready and she was coaching women at Weight Loss Hero. And we're like, we just need to kind of form one company. Built Ready is kind of what she chose. And so we've just brought those two brands together and pushing people to just eat healthy and get healthy for the glory of God.
Yeah. I mean, whether you're religious or not, your body is a temple. I mean, and I can tell you at 57, I'm feeling the road of what I put my body through. 20 years of drinking vodka. I was an alcoholic. It was like my sugar fuel for getting me through being an entrepreneur and being a machine. But man, I tell you, you can just feel all the damage you did to your body over time. And, treating yourself healthy, one of my big things too was 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I tested my testosterone, found out I had really low testosterone. I was going to the gym and doing all this working out, and I just hit a wall. I couldn't get any further, and I really wasn't building great muscle. And it turns out I had low free testosterone that was. And, tuning into my body, like I said, just recently I started the stages where, one of the problems with the intermittent fasting is protein is an insulin trigger. So when you're doing intermittent fasting, you're trying not to trigger your insulin response because it takes you out of ketosis. And struggling with trying to build muscle and build a great body in the gym with intermittent fasting is really hard. But I was doing it because I just don't fat burn because I've been fat most of my life and didn't work out. You feel it over the time, but it's really helped me to bury the needle on protein and just build muscle and maintain. And I find I don't have to go to the gym quite as much to maintain or build. And I find it makes all the difference in the world. I feel like I go into fat burning mode now just from the muscles, chewing up the fat and burning stuff. So yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. And having, part of it is too, I think a lot of it, and you probably deal with this in coaching, so I'm kind of seeding your guys' response here, but part of what you find is there was a whole mental game of bullshit that I had in my mind about ways I would con myself into eating bad foods. I was drinking 10 to 15 Mountain Dews a day. There's all these stupid rules that I have that were just a con game. Some of them from childhood, inherited by my parents. Some of them were just, what's the word I'm looking for? Negotiations I would make with myself. If you eat this, then whatever. And, you're constantly making those sort of negotiations. And in the end, you're just bullshitting yourself. And so you guys probably spend a lot of time in your coaching cleaning up the mind game that we play with ourselves around food.
Yeah. I have a saying that dysfunctional doesn't look dysfunctional to the dysfunctional.
Have you been seeing who I've been dating lately, or what's going on there?
I have not. But, it is. There's a reason Michael Jordan had a coach, right? He had Phil Jackson, but he had a shooting coach, and he had a conditioning coach, and he had a strength coach, right? I played with Brady and Breeze. These are two of the top 3 quarterbacks to ever touch a football, right? And both of them had coaches other than Bill Belichick and Sean Payton and their offensive coordinators. They had strength and conditioning coaches. They had throwing coaches. They had their soft tissue therapists. We need people in our lives that are going to kind of point out weaknesses. Most of the time, it is our thoughts that destroy us. We believe lies. And genetically, we're just prone to easy way outs. Human, just natural default is I want easy. Hard is always better. Hard work works. And so we kind of start pinning those lies that people believe kind of to the wall. And then over time, if they trust us and they submit to our leadership, they see the benefits in walking in truth, right? And truth is truth. We live in this world that people want to play in this fantasy land that, it's my truth and your truth. No, that's not truth. There is the truth. And we need to find it together. And then we need to lovingly go after that truth together. She's great at it. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm more of a man's man. I'm like, listen, let's just go, right? But
do it.
She's the gentle, loving one.
Heath, get your crap together. You know what I mean? What's funny is when you were talking about negotiation and he was talking about chocolate milk protein earlier, I don't know if you remember the whole, at least in my mind, the bodybuilders work out and then they drink the chocolate milk after. So when I was that would be my negotiation. I go to the gym, but I'd go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for 15 minutes and then go to QT and get a large chocolate milk, Why am I not seeing any results? But we struggle to call ourselves out on our own stuff because we don't see our own stuff accurately. So it's so easy to be like, at least I worked out. Normally I would have had the chocolate milk anyway. So at least I did. And instead of no, stop with the sugar. You know what I mean? It's just there has to be, and often somebody can help us see those things. And usually that is a painful process. I love in his discovery calls, his sales pitch is we're not the fastest. because we want to be the longest. Like, we want you to like actually get there and stay there. And if we're the fastest, it's not going to stick. Like, it just isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we do make a Faustian bargain. I think that's the word I'm looking for. A Faustian bargain. Is it Faustian bargain? That is the term I'm looking for. Yeah, Faustian bargain. So we make these, it's a metaphorical phrase referring to a deal where someone sacrifices something of great moral or spiritual value, or your health for that matter, like your soul or personal integrity in exchange for worldly benefits, like sticking a Big Mac in your mouth. Faustian bargain. Yeah, and I used to play that game all the time. I had so many stupid ass rules that was like, I even, and one of the rules I learned, this came from one of the people who helped Penn Jillette lose 100 pounds. His book Presto is the book that I'd found, and Cray Ray. And one of Cray Ray's rules: if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. So you don't buy it and bring it home. Like we all do that at the store. We're like, it's a giant bag of chips, and I promise if I bring it home, I'll just eat maybe a handful a day. Meanwhile, you get that fucker home, and you're just like, you're sitting in front of the TV, and all of a sudden that bag's empty, and you're just like, what have I done? I've made a horrible mistake, and your body's, we're going to make you pay for that. You just wait. We've got to come in. You want to play games with us? We'll play games with you, buddy.
Chris, she keeps buying these heavenly hunks from Costco, and I'm like, baby, don't you know my dysfunction still? We can't have this stuff in the house. I'm not going to have one of these heavenly. Chris, 1 or 2 is healthy. When you eat the whole bag from Costco, it's a big bag. It ain't good for me.
Yeah, that's another Faustian bargain we do. We're like, I'll eat this healthy thing, but it's the stacking of the calories and the sugar that's in it. Sugar just is a huge, huge element. And one of the rules is if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. There was another rule I was trying to remember, but I would always make these bargains. Like I would be, okay, I'm going to buy a case of real Coke that has real sugar in it, and it's the old, it's Mexican Coke, they call it. And it's Faustian bargain time. I'm gonna buy, so it doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup in it. It's the shit I used to drink in the 70s when I was a kid, and I love the taste. There's something about that old bottle and the taste of Coke that is so reminiscent of my childhood. But I'll make a bargain, and I'll be like, okay, I'm only gonna buy the half cans, right? Not the full cans, the half cans. And I know they sell this on this, probably with this sort of thing in mind. And I'm only gonna drink one of those maybe a day. And then I'll drink one. I'll be like, it's just a little bit more to have a second one of those because it's a half one. And you're like, fuck it, I feel today I'll drink 2. Then it's 4. And then the next day it's 4. And then you realize after a while, you're just pretty much drinking whole cans of Coke after a while. It's just this con Faustian bargain games that you play with your health and your mind. And in the meantime, your body takes the hit for it. Yeah. So as we get rounded out, tell us about how people can onboard with you, how they can reach out, how they can download the app, how they can get to know more about the brand, et cetera, in order from there.
Yeah. So again, our personal pages, you're more than welcome. We check our DMs. We respond to our DMs. BuiltReady.com or the Built Ready app is going to be a great place to start. It's going to point you to what we have to offer and what we do from a coaching perspective. ViceraNutrition.com. We would like to give you a 20% off discount code. I don't know if we can share that. I don't know what you want it to be. Tell me what you want it to be and we can share that.
10,000% off. No, I'm just teasing. Just ship it over to the Chris Voss Show email, and about 3 to 5 days when we post this on the show, we'll put that link up.
Yeah, we'll figure out what the actual code name is.
We'll get code Voss or something on there.
Yeah.
Real good for you for their 20% off.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we love people to try it, and we have a risk-free guarantee, 30-day guarantee. We want you to love it. So ViceraNutrition.com, all of those websites, we have support emails. So there's lots of different ways that you can reach us.
Yeah. We want people to be encouraged too. We're not here to sell products and stuff. We want people to understand this challenge of health, and you felt it. It feels so daunting, right? And it feels so lonely, and I can't do it. That's just not true. We've just been lied to. The marketers this day and age, they spend so much crap to make us feel such a weight and such a burden that will move, but then they sell us hook, line, and sinker on crap. And so, you were talking, 20 years, you did this, you did that. Brother, I have no doubt if, I'll coach you for free for the next year. We'll take that 20 years off your heart, your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, because that's just how powerful food and workouts is. So I'm happy to help you offline, make you feel better, help you feel better, encourage you any way I can. But people, just get busy. You don't need us as your coach, but you're most likely going to need a coach. So reach out, ask for help, humble yourself, get some help, and get after it.
You need that, because it took me a while to unravel all the Faustian bargain negotiation I did with myself and the rules. I had rules, if you go to one of my rules was, if I go shopping, it came from my childhood. So my mother would always tell us, and she had good intentions, but she would tell us, if you're good at the store and don't drive me crazy and embarrass me, which we tried very hard to do. I think most mothers know this. You'll get a candy and a Coke or something when you leave. You can have your choice of whatever's on the candy aisle, which is, when you're kids, is just rocket fuel, really. And going into my 40s, I had this idiot rule. I'm like, I went shopping for myself, so I'm going to grab a 2-liter thing of Coke and drink that on the way home, and Mountain Dew, actually. And then I'm going to, have a candy bar too, or a bag of chips or Doritos or something, whatever you find there on that sneaky aisle they have, right, as you're checking out. Yeah. And I would have this bar, and I would think of it as a reward. And one of the rules that hit me when I was cleaning my brain of all my mental crap is, I'm like, how is it a reward? I'm 40. I'm in my 40s. I don't need a reward to buy shopping crap at the store. What is going on? Like, I'm rewarding myself for grocery shopping?
You know what, though? We will go to Costco and we will fill our cart with organic items.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to get some pizza and hot dogs on the way out. And if every other parent on here is not thinking, yes, I do that as well, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to keep it healthy. And then we're just going to burn it on the way out,
and the truth is, we try to live in 85-15, right? Mm-hmm. This idolatrous, I'm going to be perfect and I want ripped abs. I know all those dudes with ripped abs, and I can have ripped abs in about 6 weeks. Listen, it's not the healthiest way to live most of the time. It's idolatry. It takes time from your wife, your kids, everything else. No. We want a good balance around good food, and it goes a long way.
And sometimes that means Costco pizza.
Sure.
Costco. Hey, every now and then, I tend to find I can cheat a little bit more with eating more protein and building and working out at the gym, but I have to be careful. Because then it's 2 burgers a day instead of 1, and 3 burgers a day, and then, then it's back to meth and crack. No, I'm just kidding. Callback joke. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming to the show. It's been delightful to have you on, and we learned so much, and hopefully we've helped a lot of people out there that will reach out to you. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. That should have us out. This is